She lied to everyone except him. I always thought pain had a sound. Maybe the crack of a bone, the screech of brakes, the hollow thump of a punch. But when she betrayed me, it was silent. Deafeningly silent. It wasn't like the movies. There was no yelling, no slamming doors, no broken glasses. Just this eerie stillness, like the moment before a storm, or after a funeral. My name's Josh. I'm 24. And until 8 months ago, I thought I was going to marry the girl of my dreams. Her name was Ava. We met when we were both 20, second year of college, psychology class. She sat one row ahead of me and always wore this ridiculous oversized hoodie that practically swallowed her whole. I thought she was shy at first, but then one day she turned around and cracked a joke about our professor's monotone voice. I laughed. She smiled. And something clicked. We started walking to class together, then having lunch, then studying at the library, which quickly became studying mostly just us talking for hours about everything. Her dreams, my fears, her childhood, my messed up family. She told me things she said she'd never told anyone before. And I believed her. God, I believed her. By the time we officially started dating, it already felt like we'd known each other for years. The next 2.5 years were golden. Or at least I thought they were. We graduated, moved in together into a small but cozy apartment, adopted a cat named Milo, and started our life. I got a junior marketing job at a creative agency. She worked part-time at a boutique and was studying to get her master's in counseling. We talked about everything, or so I thought. Looking back, I realized now there were signs. Moments that didn't add up. Shifts in tone, subtle glances, long texting sessions where she'd turn her phone face down. But when you trust someone that deeply, you don't add up clues. You erase them. You tell yourself stories to explain them away. I told myself I was lucky. I told myself she loved me. I told myself nothing could break us. And then came Daniel. He was part of her grad school cohort, a guy I heard about in passing. He's super intense, she said once. Like, emotionally dramatic. I chuckled and didn't think much of it. Another time, she mentioned that he'd had a rough childhood, that he struggled with attachment issues. I nodded, barely listening, sipping coffee while scrolling my phone. The first time I met him was at a small get-together Ava hosted for her program friends. He was tall, lean, and had that kind of calculated softness that makes you think he's harmless. But I didn't like him. There was something in the way he looked at her, like he saw a version of her that was only his. Like they had a secret I wasn't part of. I brought it up afterward, jokingly. You think Daniel has a thing for you? She rolled her eyes. God, no. He's just like that with everyone. He's emotionally affectionate, I guess. I raised an eyebrow. Emotionally affectionate? She smirked. Yeah, like, he says things other people would think twice before saying. Compliments. Deep stuff. He's harmless, I promise. Harmless. The second time I saw him, it was accidental. I came home early from work. It was pouring rain, and my boss let everyone leave early. I remember I was excited. Ava was supposed to be home, and I figured we could watch that stupid dating show she loved and order Thai food. When I opened the door, I heard laughter. Ava's laughter. Soft and unfiltered, the kind she hadn't laughed with me in weeks. And Daniel's voice. I paused in the hallway. Their voices came from the living room. Nothing overtly suggestive, but close. Too close. I stepped in, dripping wet, and saw them on the couch. She jumped up, startled, like I'd caught her doing something illegal. He turned, cool and composed, like he expected me. Oh my God, Josh, you're soaked, she said, rushing toward me. Daniel just nodded. Hey, man. I forced a smile. Didn't know we had company. Daniel just came by to drop off notes from class. We were talking about stuff. Therapy models and whatever. She said it too fast. I looked at her, then at him. He stood, grabbed his jacket, and said something about letting you guys have your night. I said nothing. As soon as the door closed behind him, she turned to me. Babe, seriously, it's not what it looks like. I hadn't said it looked like anything, but the fact that she went straight there said everything. Still, I let it go. Because love makes you stupid. Because I didn't want to be the jealous guy. Because I still believed her. The next few weeks, things felt off. She was distant, colder at times, or suddenly overcompensating, cooking my favorite meals, randomly initiating sex, sending me flirty texts during the day. It was like she was trying to cover up a crack in the wall with pretty wallpaper. But I couldn't shake the feeling. So one night, I did something I never thought I would do. I checked her phone. She was in the shower. I knew her passcode. I hesitated, my chest tight, my fingers shaking, but I did it anyway. And that's when I found it. Not texts, not pictures, but a hidden conversation in her notes app. A back-and-forth log between her and Daniel. It was like they were writing letters to each other. Romantic, intimate, detailed, full of inside jokes and painful longing. I wish I could sleep next to you again. I hate pretending when he's around. I think about that night all the time. That night, I kept scrolling. Dates, timestamps, memories, his words, her words, and her signature at the end of one message. I hate lying to everyone but you. I dropped the phone. The sound was louder than I expected. She came out of the bathroom, towel wrapped around her, hair wet, and saw the look on my face. And she knew. She didn't ask what happened. She didn't need to. She just stared at me. And in her eyes, for the first time, I saw something I'd never seen before. Relief. I don't even know how long I sat there, staring at the closed door of our apartment. My apartment now, I guess. The silence in that space had weight. Her laughter, her footsteps, her hums while making coffee, gone. In their place, echoes, memories, ghosts. The text notifications kept piling in. From friends, from her sister. Even her mom tried to reach out. I ignored them all, but one message finally cut through the numbness. It was from Matt. You want to talk, man? Seriously, this wasn't how I wanted things to go. That wasn't how he wanted things to go. As if there was a version of this betrayal where I would have nodded and smiled and thanked them both. I blocked his number, but it wasn't over. Not even close. 3 weeks later, I tried to rebuild, focused on work, went to the gym obsessively, ate meals that tasted like cardboard, pretended I was okay. And then one day, I bumped into her. Not metaphorically, literally. Grocery store of all places. She turned the corner of an aisle, and I turned into her. Her eyes widened. So did mine. She looked good. Hair done. Skin glowing. Like she hadn't lost a second of sleep. And next to her, Matt, holding her hand. They froze. I froze. Jason, she started, her voice cautious, soft. Matt took a step forward. Hey man. I stared at them both. I don't think I'm the one you should be calling man anymore. Chloe let go of his hand quickly, guilt crawling up her neck like a rash. We didn't expect to see you. We weren't hiding or... No, I cut her off. You just didn't care. Her lips parted, like she had more rehearsed excuses lined up. Matt added, Look, I know you hate us, but we didn't plan to hurt you. Things just happened. I let out a cold laugh. Right, like a car crash. Just an accident. You tripped and fell into each other. Her eyes welled up, and I hated how that still got to me. How I still felt something twist in my chest seeing her look sad, even now. I'm sorry, Jason, she whispered. But the words didn't mean anything anymore. I stepped around them, didn't say anything else, left my cart right there in the aisle, and walked out of the store. I couldn't sleep that night. I lay there staring at the ceiling, feeling every second drag across my skin like sandpaper. The silence was heavy, thick with the sound of things unsaid. My phone lit up a few times, messages from friends, even one from my mom checking in. But not from her, not from Rachel. After what I saw, I didn't expect her to reach out, but I think a part of me still hoped she would. That she'd call sobbing, trying to explain. That she'd say she made a mistake. That it was a misunderstanding. That she wanted me back. But that call never came. Instead, I woke up to Instagram stories of her laughing with him, her arm draped over his shoulder like she had never even known I existed. Like I was some temporary mistake she had grown out of. The next few days blurred together. I deleted every photo we had, erased our conversations, removed her from everything, my socials, my playlists, even my memories if that were possible. But no matter how many times I hit delete, she was still there. In my head, in my chest, in everything I saw. Every place I went felt stained by her presence. The cafe we used to visit on Sundays. The bookstore where I bought her that dumb poetry book she said she loved. Even the smell of lavender reminded me of her shampoo. I was haunted, but worse than the pain was the embarrassment. Because everyone knew. Her friends knew. My friends knew. People had seen them together. People had asked me, even before that night, if I was sure she wasn't talking to someone else. And I had defended her. I had told them they didn't know her like I did. That she wasn't like that. But she was. She was exactly like that. The worst part? I wasn't even angry. I wanted to be. I wanted to punch a wall or scream or go on some unhinged rant. But I wasn't mad. I was just hollow. Like someone had taken something from me I didn't know how to get back. Trust, belief, myself. A week passed, then another, and I hadn't seen her until that Friday night. I was at a party, a friend dragged me there. Said I needed to get out, bro, stop being so mopey. So I went. I tried to smile, pretended to enjoy the music, tried not to flinch when I saw couples wrapped around each other like the world wasn't cruel. And then she walked in, Rachel, with him, hand in hand. She looked radiant, effortlessly beautiful, like she hadn't just burned down everything we had built. And when she saw me, she froze for half a second, just long enough for me to know she recognized the weight of the moment. But then she smiled, not apologetically, not sadly, smugly, and then leaned in to whisper something in his ear that made him laugh. He didn't even look my way. She had moved on so easily, so cleanly, like I had never mattered. And that's when it hit me. She didn't want closure. She didn't need resolution. She didn't care how much it wrecked me. She wanted me to see her happy, to see her win, to see me broken. And in that moment, I knew this wasn't about love or heartbreak. It wasn't even about betrayal. It was about humiliation. And she had succeeded. I didn't want to give her the satisfaction of knowing I was still hurting. But no matter how hard I tried to act normal, smiling at the right moments, laughing at jokes I didn't find funny, my eyes kept drifting toward her across the room. Rachel was standing with him, that same guy from the night everything fell apart. His name was Chris, I'd found out. One of those smooth-talking, gym-obsessed, hyper-confident types that always seemed to float from girl to girl, never staying long enough to care. But she clung to him like he was oxygen. And me? I felt like I was drowning. A few of our mutual friends hovered nearby. I caught some of them watching me, unsure whether to come say something or pretend I didn't exist. Cowards. Maybe they were afraid of taking sides. Or maybe they'd already chosen. I had no one. So I left the party early, the music still thumping behind me as I stepped out into the cold. I didn't know where I was going, just that I couldn't stay there a second longer. That night, something changed. I wasn't going to be the guy she destroyed quietly. I wasn't going to let her rewrite the narrative and walk away unscathed. If she wanted me broken, she was going to have to see what she had done. Really see it? So I made a plan. I started collecting everything: texts, screenshots, voice messages, photos. Every "I love you" she ever sent me while she was also sneaking around with Chris. Every time she told me I was overthinking things, that I was insecure, that I was imagining it. I found timestamps. I dug deep. I even asked some of her old friends from before she met me, people she probably thought I'd never talk to. What I found made my stomach twist. Chris wasn't the first. He was just the one that finally blew it all open. There had been another guy the semester before we met, and another during that break she said was to focus on herself. I saw conversations. Dates lined up with ones I remembered crying myself to sleep, thinking I was the one who had pushed her away. Turns out she just needed time to lie without interruption. And somehow, it wasn't even the betrayals that hurt the most. It was the effort she put into making me feel like I was the problem. You're too intense. You need therapy, not a girlfriend. No one will ever love you if you keep acting like this. Gaslighting, stonewalling, manipulating. She'd used every weapon in the book, and I'd swallowed every poison word because I loved her. I wanted to be enough for her. I believed her when she said I was. God, I was so blind. But not anymore. I sent the file, everything I'd collected, to Chris. No message, no explanation. Just the truth, gift-wrapped in every ugly detail she tried to bury. I don't know what happened after that, not exactly. But I heard whispers later, something about a huge blow-up, Rachel screaming in the quad, Chris throwing her phone across a lawn. I never asked anyone to confirm it. I didn't need to. She started avoiding me after that. And maybe it should have felt like victory, like payback. But all it felt like was silence. Empty, cold silence. One day, about a month later, she texted me. "Can we talk?" That was it. No apology. No remorse. Just those 4 words. I stared at my phone for a long time. Then I blocked her. Because there was nothing left to say. I wish I could end the story there, neatly wrapped, justice served. But healing doesn't come with an epilogue. There are still nights I dream about her. Still songs that rip my chest open. I still wonder, deep down, whether it was ever real, whether she ever loved me, even for a second. But I'm not the same person anymore. And that's the only closure I need. The end.